Greetings and welcome to PJ's Kitchen. My name is Peter James from peterjamesx.com with the Babylon Report. Today we are doing a video about the days of Noah. We already have a document on the website by the same title, but this is entirely new material. In 2 Corinthians 4 and verse 4 it says, "In whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine unto them." The reason we are using that scripture is that it's basically saying that the people in the world are blinded. And though we are living in the days of Noah, the people do not know. The Christians do not speak about it. In Luke 17 and verse 26 it starts and says, "And as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be also in the days of the Son of Man. They did eat, they drank, they married wives, they were given in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and the flood came and destroyed them all. Likewise also as it was in the days of Lot. They did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they built. But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven, and destroyed them all. Even thus shall it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed." Well, we're going to look at this in some detail. But what we're also going to do, we are going to include some news, some very, very current news, right up to date, as to what's going on in the world. In the past week, we have had masses of information about floods worldwide. Philippines, South America, Africa, Europe, Britain with winds, everything. In Queensland, there was a potential health problem after floods ravaged a place called Emerald. 2,670 people had to move from their homes. I won't go into all the details because if I did, we'd just spend hours here on this. Then in Iceland, southwest Iceland, a raging storm caused a 180-ton boat to break free. The wind blew on it and it sank. That's Iceland. Then in Zambia has declared a national disaster after floods swept through the South African nation and several neighboring countries. Note that. Killing at least 45 people, destroying roads, bridges, crops and livestock. This is a national disaster and it requires concerted efforts of all of us to solve. The flooded areas were Zambia, Mozambique, Zimbabwe and Malawi, which has been lashed by heavy rains for several weeks, causing swollen rivers to burst their banks and forcing thousands of villagers to flee their homes, with no sign of let-up in the rainy weather. Did you hear that on the news? Did they give it some sort of a priority that actually several nations down in Black Africa were having problems? In Austria, a storm with speeds of up to 120 kilometers per hour swept large parts of Austria, causing considerable damage. We also had the same thing in China. We had temperatures down at -50 in Russia, and just yesterday, Yorkshire, northern Britain, was lashed by winds which turned over vehicles and all sorts. So this bad weather is a worldwide phenomena. January 26, 2008, the Russian scientist has said that there's an approaching asteroid which is called 2007 TU-24, which has been measured at being 600 meters, that's 200 feet large, is due to pass within 540,000 kilometers, that's 334,000 miles of Earth on January the 29th. That's a couple of days' time. What is interesting about this is this scientist has actually blamed this space object as having a catastrophic effect on our electromagnetic field and destabilizing our already in chaos global weather patterns. You know, we did a video some time back on the global crisis scam. Now this scientist is saying, well, this asteroid doesn't actually have to hit the Earth, it just needs to pass near and it will mess up the weather. And he's actually already blaming the weather we are experiencing on it. In the past week alone, this is dated January 26th, so this is bang up to date. He says, cold temperatures in Siberia, India, North America, and unprecedented snows in China have paralyzed vast portions of that Asian nation. Bangladesh isn't having a good time either. Did you hear that on the news? Did they sort of give that some sort of priority? Did you hear anything about that? Still related to the weather, it says here, drought could force nuclear plant shutdowns. Now, I didn't really know anything about this. And basically what's happening is, in order to cool nuclear plants, you need such tremendous amounts of water, and they build them near rivers and lakes and things like that. You know, it says, this is in Alabama, but this applies to all over the United States, and anywhere there are nuclear reactors. It says all but 2 are built on the shores of lakes and rivers and rely on submerged intake pipes to draw, get this figure, billions of gallons of water for use in cooling and condensing steam after it has turned the plant's turbines. They've actually had to shut down some nuclear stations because they did not have enough water, because they can't pull mud into the pipes. They've been having rain and snow, but it is not really affecting the water level at the moment. Lake Norman near Charlotte is down to 93.7 feet, less than a foot above the minimum set in the license for Duke Energy Corporation's Maguire nuclear plant. The lake was at 98.2 feet just a year ago, so this massive lake has dropped 5 feet. During Europe's brutal 2006 heatwave, French, Spanish and German utilities were forced to shut down some of their nuclear plants and reduce power at others because of low water levels, some for as much as a week. Did you hear anything about that? And then this puts the price of electricity up, because those people who provide electricity by the nuclear plants have to go and buy in power from other people and sell it again.